Queensland Police using check-in data. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. We're going to have a look at an article which is drawing attention to the fact that Queensland Police are using the check-in data. You know that little code that we're all meant to, the app we're meant to download on our phone and scan wherever you go, fill in all the details of yourself and all your children, which is quite frustrating. And the police have access to it. So the concern with this is could you be criminalized, or could you be considered a criminal or a suspect just for happening to scan in at a location at a certain place and time? There's some danger with this, everyone. It's just baby steps now. But the concern is where this could lead and how this data can be abused. Because no matter what the politicians tell you, people will have access to it and they'll use it. Now, for my vanilla life, I'm not too worried, but you don't know how people can take advantage of it, everyone, or what it can lead to. Now, before we go through that article, I want to draw your attention to a video I did at the beginning of the year. So all data access and encryption laws, or are data access and encryption laws limiting innovation? In this, I was discussing the fact that, well, when you go through the airport, you've got to hand over your phone. The federal police can demand it, access it, and copy your data. Not very good if you're a third party or a contractor working for a company that wants protection for their data. And technically, you might even be in breach of some of the EU laws. Yeah, Australia, the innovation nation. Sure. So let's have a look at this article, everyone. Let's see what they're talking about here. Queensland Police use of check-in data sparks reform calls. And this is from the Brisbane Times. Perfect, eh? Queensland Police have used data collected by the Check-in Queensland app, despite assurances from the state government it would only be used for contact tracing purposes. Well, there you go. It's completely failed. Brisbane Times can reveal police accessed check-in details as part of an investigation into the reported theft of an officer's gun and taser from a regional pub. Of course they did. It has led to calls from Queensland's Privacy and Human Rights Commission for the state government to keep its word and ban the use of the data for all but contact tracing purposes. Well, what they need to do is they need to fine every police officer in that station that was involved with that. What do you reckon? Why not? Personal fines, $15,000 for each person for accessing the information. The unloaded firearm, initially believed to have been stolen on the night of the first state of origin from a locked room in the Miriam Vale Hotel about 450 kilometres north of Brisbane, was found the next day during a more detailed search of the pub, a police spokesman said in a statement. So a copper lost his gun at the pub. So they accessed this data, which they weren't allowed to do, which the government assured us wouldn't happen. Huh. What do you have confidence in our leaders, everyone, our politicians, our representatives? Investigations into the missing taser, which was unloaded, are ongoing. Experts have been warning governments across the country to ensure such data was not used for other purposes to avoid harm in public faith and take-up of the health tools. Well, no, there is already harm. There's already people that are concerned. Earlier this month, the West Australian government introduced laws to close a loophole after revelations police used the state's app data in a murder investigation. Despite opposition, Victorian authorities have been less receptive but are yet to successfully apply for access. But police access to the federal government's COVID-safe app data was central to the push behind laws passed earlier last year, restricting use solely to the contact tracing by state health departments. See, Rachel, my wife, doesn't think this will ever disappear. She thinks that they will once they have access to that information, once they have access to that data, they won't want to give it up. Imagine how much easier police investigation will be if there's be a full list of everyone at every event. Oh, soon you have to put your photograph on it. You have to get a facial scan when you walk into a place. maybe we are heading into a dystopian world where privacy is non-existent. Australian Privacy Foundation Vice Chair Monique Mann said one of the key promises of such tools nationwide was the data would be collected and used solely for public health purposes, then destroyed. We need stronger protection, Ms. Mann said of the Queensland situation. We need to make sure such information collected for one purpose is not used for another purpose. Well, here's the thing. There needs to be a different approach to it. No data should go to the government. You should go to a venue, log that you've been to a venue, and then it will, the information should flow from the government to you. If a venue has been identified as a risk point, it should go bing, bing, update you and tell you. So you can take steps. But that's not what they want to do. It's not about you having individual responsibility and agency. It's about daddy government taking care of you. It's about the authoritarians being able to restrict your freedom, essentially. As we're all in lockdown now, in house arrest. So contact tracing helps us stop the spread of COVID-19. Remember to keep using the Check-In Queensland app for more information from our Premier. With the mask, I see that as a criminal, as someone hiding their face in a cowardly act, a deceptive act. It's just a cultural thing. It's never the good guys, is it? Look at Antifa. They were covering their faces before it was popular, before it was cool. They're not the good guys. Law enforcement already have a wide suite of surveillance powers at their disposal, and they can use including warrantless access to phone metadata. I didn't even know that. I'm not surprised. In response to a series of questions from this masthead, the newspaper, Queensland Police said the hotel investigation was the sole time officers had accessed the data, which they had legal capacity to with a warrant. But they were now being directed not to accept in extraordinary circumstances approved by a deputy commissioner. So they can do it. They can do it. If they get a warrant, they can access it. I mean, you can understand why. If they think there's someone running around with a firearm or a gun, we can't have an armed populace. A review was initiated last week when the QPS became aware of the Miriam Vale incident through internal review processes, a spokeswoman said. What about the copper that lost his gun or her gun? So this is despite a joint media release from Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk and three of her ministers in late March announcing the app would start becoming mandatory and the data collected would only be accessed for contact tracing purposes. From July 9, almost all venues other than private homes will be required to use it. Queensland Human Rights Commissioner Scott McDougall welcomed the police decision to wind back use, but said the public needed to have confidence that the personal information they provided would only be used for health measures. Legislative protections should be put in place as soon as possible, he said. Queensland Privacy Commissioner Philip Green said he would also support the public release of a revised privacy impact assessment as the app expands to more sectors. In a statement, Police Minister Mark Ryan said the government was considering legislative changes to ensure the public had complete confidence about the app's privacy. We never will. Who will have confidence? Come on. What legislation can do? It can all be changed. It can even be just someone acting on their own volition, having access to the data. Launched in February by the Communities Housing and Digital Economy Department, the app is also an outlier among those operating across states and territories. Data is held for twice as long, in some instances 56 days, and more data is required than the ACT app it is based on, including an email or physical address alongside a full name and phone number. Queensland Greens MP Mirwah MP Michael Berkman said the party had written to Digital Economy Minister Lenan Enoch this week about the issues, and without legislation, another government agency could also access the data. So there we go, everyone. Some good reporting by the Brisbane Times and Matt here, bringing attention to this issue. I mean, are you concerned with your civil liberties, your privacy? Are you at all surprised? Are you at all surprised? I mean, there you go. There's the potential for it to be misused and, well, eventually in the dystopian future, where it'll probably be linked to your social credit score or your central bank digital currency, And maybe we'll have the gender divide to bridge the wage gap. Females' purchasing power will be increased under the central bank digital currency when they go to particular venues. I mean, that's a cruel joke, but you never know. What do you reckon? Let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. If you're a fan of the channel and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. Sign up for SelfWealth or Stake. Use our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve or HeiseBroadband. Buy a merch from HeiseSays. Use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.